Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information, or follow the link in the description below. And as this is 90 after 90, I want to thank our sponsors, Cosmetic Repair Solutions, an independent award-winning network of vehicle accident repair centres located in Sheffield, Rotherham, Dinnington, Barnsley and Derby. Visit the website to find out more or get an estimate at cosmeticrepair.co.uk.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
Back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is 90 after 90. Now, we usually do these directly after the game, as you know, or as early as practicable, if that's even a word, I think it is, after the game. So it's up to 90 minutes of chat with you guys, sending your comments in. If you're a Platinum Rambler, you can get yourself on screen and have a call with us and get your opinions known on screen as well. So I've got some people waiting. Obviously, last night, we were back late, to be honest. We were fortunate enough to do a little bit of a gig with Midnight last night, the sponsors of Sheffield United. So we were a little bit later than usual getting back, which is why we didn't do 90 after 90 directly after the game. I got back after 11. I thought, going on, look, I've done it before, but going on, if we'd have won, then there might have been half a chance. But in addition to that, my head had fallen off because there were loads of things flying around my head, and unfortunately, today's given me a little bit of time for clarity and to sort of give me head a wobble a little bit, put it back on my shoulders, and try and think about a sensible approach to this in terms of, because as much as you can look at things like, I mean, the title of this was "Robbed by a Ref" or "Robbed by the Ref," because undoubtedly, I don't like going in on refs. We're very close. We've got a ref who's a Platinum Rambler who I'm going to be speaking to very shortly about this. So we are keen not to overly criticise referees, and maybe the title is a little bit strong, but I think it has been the talk of every Blade I've spoken to about the game. Not one of them hasn't mentioned the referee, and when that's the case, you know something's wrong. Obviously, a lot of the post-match from Alan Nill, not Chris Wilder, which we'll come on to, a lot of the post-match was about the referee. In fact, one of the highlights of, or one of the few benefits of being able to do 90 after 90 later is I've got a chance to load a few things in, because normally I'm straight on, right, are we set up? Let's go. I can just about update the thumbnail, and then I've got a quick turnaround time. But because I've had today to have a little bit of time to digest stuff and have a think about it, I've also been able to include a little bit more. So on here, I can talk to you about a quote from Nilly's post-match, which was, this was a big game. I didn't think he had the experience, the referee, to manage this game. I thought it was too big a game for him. Even though it's not a top-of-the-table game, it's two really big clubs in this division. I think there could have been better officials available, and he maybe could have had more help. Referring to another decision, he said, "Can someone tell me about the one where he does the wall, where everybody counts 8 steps and he doesn't move the wall?" That was absolutely ludicrous, to be honest. I can hear myself now, so I think somebody else has just jumped on. Yeah, that's all right. He counted 8 steps, and there were 8 steps away. Obviously, for those that aren't aware, you need to be 10 steps away from the free kick taker, 10 yards back. The referee, I think it was Callum O'Hare or somebody, counted out the steps, and he was like, "Ref, there's nowhere near." And ref were like, "Right, I'll do it again then." Counted out 8 yards, and then stopped. That was where the players were, 8 yards rather than 10, and he just left them there. So I nearly saying, "Can someone tell me about the one where he does the wall, where everybody counts 8 steps and he doesn't move the wall?" It was like, well, everybody was amazed. It was one of those nights, I suppose. It certainly was one of those nights. It's not just that. There was a chance for Cheo Ogbeni, who got pretty much through on goal, and he was pushed in the back, blatantly pushed in the back. I can't fathom in my head how he can't at least award a free kick on the edge because I don't think it was inside the box. Even if you give the defender the benefit of the doubt that there's two of them, so you could even say there's a covering, and Gaz will be in a much better position to tell me this when he comes on. But I would say, look, it doesn't even have to be a red card offence, but it was through on goal. It appeared as though he was through on goal. I think the letter of the law would be it's a red card, but he didn't give anything. He didn't give a free kick. He didn't give a foul. There were a Ben Mee tackle, which Lewis captured in our Ramble on the road. Bang. Real strong tackle. Yellow card. Booked. Too strong. It might have been clean and fair. Too strong. Can't do that. Can't. The game has gone, ladies and gents. As they say, the game has gone. And that's taking out what was an unbelievable equaliser in terms of emotion. And I think the way the game swung, I thought we were the better team in the first half. I thought we were very cagey to start off with. And we edged it. And we went in fairly, I think, 1-up. And we can talk about that. In fact, I have here, because again, this is something else I can look to do now. And thanks to Lewis, because this is footage from Ramble on the Road. This is the Ty Campbell goal. It's a lovely ball through, hints from Hamer. Ty Campbell skips right. It's too easy to get past the defender, but he's got a lot to do. He takes it on his favoured left foot, even though he's gone round the outside. Let's see if we can watch that again. So, yeah, I think it's Bussy that plays him in. He's on the right-hand side. He wants to come in on his left, but he takes an extra touch, and it's a beautiful finish into the top corner. And look, Ty Campbell has taken stick from Blades this season, me included. Obviously, I've been quite vocal about it, because if you don't give your opinions and your honest opinions, then what are we even doing here? I'm delighted he scored the other night. I was absolutely buzzing for him. What I will say is, I don't think it, necessarily set him on fire and sort of made him become but it did lift him a little bit. It visibly lifted him, and I'm hoping that can now be a kickstart to his regaining some sort of form. And things were looking good for us, but some of the decisions had started to go against us. Chris Wilder were very frustrated at half-time. We'd had a penalty awarded against us, which were never a penalty, by the way, completely played for, and I've got the penalty clip here as well. Adam Armstrong steps up, Cooper in goal, and Adam Armstrong had a good game, and I couldn't deal with him at corners for some reason when he's 5'4", but he steps up and puts it high and wide, which were great for Sheffield United, but it were never a penalty anyway. So I thought justice had been done at that point by them not scoring and us still being up when half-time came. Chris Wilder being frustrated at some of the decisions, allegedly, I'm only assuming that's the case, he's rifled the ball into the crowd. Look, I'm not excusing it. There's no excuse for it, really. I don't think the manager will excuse it. I think it's just a rush of blood to the head where we've seen him do it before with like water bottles and stuff and just kick out in frustration. And it's hit somebody in the crowd and he's gone straight away and he's apologised and referee's given him a red card. People are asking what sort of punishment he'll get for that. Again, Gaz might be a better place to tell us, but I'm of the belief it's usually, in usual circumstances, it'd be a one-game touchline ban. So we'll see if that more will come out of that as we progress. So Wilder doesn't come out for the second half. He's hiked up to director's box. Alan Nilly's on the touchline. He's the one that does all the post-match and stuff. And to be fair to Southampton, they changed the shape. They mixed it up a little bit, and I thought they played well second half. They took off Tom Fellows, which I thought were a risky move because I thought he was one of their more dangerous players. But they mixed it up, and I thought they probably edged the second half as well. And I think we've got their equaliser, which it comes off the bar from a corner. We didn't clear it, and we just tap it in. And it's really disappointing for us. So it comes, Cooper's in no man's land there. Can't really blame the keeper for that. I know a few people have questioned Cooper, which again we can talk about. But yeah, it was just too easy for him, weren't it? I haven't got the screamer that got the winner, to be fair, because Lewis just caught the back end of that. So all you'd see is it hitting the net. But thank you to Lewis for doing that Ramble on the Road. That's out now if anybody wants to go and check that out. Just a 3-minute short of Lewis's match day, really. So really enjoy those. I think it's a real strong addition to the channel. So yeah, it were a worldie that beat us. We'll just touch briefly on the equaliser that never was. Siddy Peck. Of course it were going to be Siddy Peck that got it ruled out. The lad who hasn't scored a goal for Sheffield United yet. The lad who's sort of been synonymous with Wilder. There's been sort of a link there about him returning and a United resurgence, and people always look to Siddy Peck, and he wants to sort of he likes playing City Pet because I think it sort of sets the tone for how he wants his teams to be, because he's quite an aggressive player. He gives a lot of effort. And I think sometimes with City Pet, you'll get a 6 out of 10. Sometimes you'll get an 8 out of 10. But I thought he did okay yesterday. And to take that goal away from him, a last-minute equaliser, were really cruel. Look, the one thing I will say is a lot of people are screaming Blue Thunder or whatever you say about the goal being disallowed. Tom Cannon's got his arms round keeper. So, and I know it's 6 of one, half dozen of other. And I don't think the keeper's getting there anyway. And I think Alan Neil said the same. It's minimal contact from Cannon. And it doesn't look like the keeper will get there anyway. The one thing I would say is don't give the keeper a decision. The ref, sorry, a decision to make on that. If you've not got your hands on him and you don't think he's going to get there, it's a goal and we come away with a point, which would have been a deserved result. I don't want to take anything away from Southampton, by the way, because there were some decisions that he gave us that were quite perplexing. None as game-changing as the ones that we've mentioned, but I don't think it was like he favoured Southampton and wanted them to win. I think it was just a really bad night for an official who has apparently been working in League Two up until last night, as Alan Neil was saying. So those are the sort of rough and tumble, I suppose, negatives out of the game. The one thing I will say is I think that's the best we've played this season. And I know it was in defeat, but I think that's the best we've played all season. And we have won a game, but I thought we played better last night than we did against Oxford. And I can certainly see now reason for optimism going forward. So, yes, we were beaten. You look at their team on paper and our team on paper, they're two very good sides. And at some stage, we're always going to turn for Southampton. They looked nervy last night. We looked nervy at times as well. But we more than matched them, I thought. The one thing I will say is when we went to 2 up top with Tom Cannon and Danny Ings, I thought we looked really good. Really good in the last few minutes. And I know momentum's going to swing our way because we're taking more chances. But I think if Danny Ings can do more than 10 minutes, we'll get to our teams in countdown to kick off tomorrow, but Danny Ings, spoiler alert, will be in my team for Hull at the weekend, because I think 2 up top is something we have to consider now if we're going to fire our way out of this predicament that we're in. So I'm going to get to your comments now, see what you guys are thinking, and we'll let that guide the flow of the conversation. We've got some callers waiting as well, very patiently, so we'll get to them in due course as well. Phil starts us off saying, "Hello, Jimmy, hope you're okay. That game last night at best should have been a draw. Referee, as many have said, was poor. What was Wilder thinking when he kicked that ball into the stand? Up the Ramble, like and subscribe." Agree with all your points. Agree with all your points, Phil, to be honest. Game last night, I think, was a draw would have been a fair result. I think both sides would have settled for that. I think we were there with some Southampton fans, and they were in full agreement that a draw would have been a fair result. They thought they got away with one. Referee, I thought, was poor last night. Again, we don't like calling out refs. And Wilder, I think, will be disappointed in himself for one daft decision. I don't think he'll try and defend it at all, but I do think as well, we've said it before, you have to take the rough with the smooth with Wilder. You have to take that passion that he has bottled up and maybe a bit of a short fuse that comes with that for all the good that you get with that, all the chest thumping that we love, is because he's so tightly wound and passionate into it. So I get it. Jack says, "Evening, Jimmy, not going to speak about the ref because what's the point? But a lot of positives to take. Some nice passes, sometimes overdid it, but those first time balls to play through looked good. Looked really good first half and came out second half firing, but we've got to defend better. We were warned about that first goal when they hit the bar. Sunderland go 2-0, go 2 up. Sunderland 2, going front but can't finish it. Okay. Gaz says, sorry for the language, but I think it's... Don't worry, Parks, I think it's already been deleted before I saw it. So, fair enough. Bean says the ref was poor, but I do think people just blaming that are being a bit blindsided by the obvious issues we have. We look so unfit, it's untrue. Players were blowing after 65 to 70 minutes like last year. It was an improvement on Sayers, but the recruitment this summer, bar the centre-backs, is awful. Wasted loans, no pace, no target man, no proper Sousa replacement, no proper right-back. So many holes. Without being really negative, how many games can we continue not to get many points before we're genuinely in a relegation fight? Not saying we are at the minute, but in 10 or so games, if it's the same, are we? Why? Some would say we are now, Bean. And to be honest, this is, like you have two, the devil and the angel on your shoulder that people talk about. Bean's comment here is like the devil on my shoulder, because I agree with a lot of what he says. And I don't mean you're a devil player by any means, Bean by any means, but it's The ref being poor, I agree. But you can't be blindsided by that because we've got issues ourselves. The players are unfit. I think it's evident, certainly in some individuals. I'm not going to name names because I don't want it to become like a big thing. But I think if you spotted it yourself, you'll know. It was an improvement. The recruitment bar the centre backs is awful. I think awful's harsh, but I don't think it's top end championship. I think it's probably good championship, other than the centre halves. Wasted loans is fair. You look at Tyler Binden, Louis Barry not getting on now, Samari. Who else have we got? Can't remember. Without being really negative, no proper right back. Oh, Ben Godfrey's the other one, isn't he? Who's not getting in or didn't get in this time. No proper right back. That's fair. So many holes. No Sousa replacement. No target man. No pace. We've got Ogbenny, but you can't just rely on one man for pace, can you? We've struggled for pace in the side for a long time. A target man is something I think we'll target in January. Without being really negative, how many games can we continue to not get many points before we're genuinely in a relegation fight? As I say, some would say we are now. We have to respect the teams around us, don't we? And I think the majority of us do. But we've talked already about how tough this league is and how tough. Wilder talks about all the time how difficult it is to win a game in this league. Has Hull now, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow in Countdown to Kickoff, has Hull become a must-win game? Because I think we're getting into that territory now. If we're not careful, we could get cut slightly adrift. And I have no fears at the moment that Sheffield United will be relegated. I certainly don't have any fears of that. But, and I saw enough last night to bolster that theory. But we do have to turn the tide somewhere. Otherwise, it's all right peaking up again and getting better, but then you'll start to tip again as belief starts to drop in terms of what you can or can't achieve this season. So we have to be really careful and continue this positive performance. I think it was the best performance we've seen this season, if not the result that we're after. Sheila says, this referee's previous appointment was Cambridge against Tranmere. No disrespect to either club, but after last night, I think that's too big a match for him. Nick says, I think it was very unfortunate, but I do question if Wilder's red card had a negative effect on the team. I love Nilly, but he's not the man motivator on the sidelines. Their second goal, by the way, wow, up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Yeah, great goal. Can't take anything away from Ross Stewart there. I know I've seen some people saying we need to close them down quicker. You can look at what we're doing, and Nilly said we always look to what we could have done better. The first goal, we can clearly do better here. We can clearly do better. Where we're closing him down, Tom Davis loses his man there. I think it's Ben Mee as well. Just looking at that replay there. Oh, it's not Ben Mee's one, is he? He's on Stewart, but there's Burrows at the far stick. Whatever it is, the man's peeled off at the back stick, and he's got away and he's scored. So we can do a lot better with that goal. But Ross Stewart's goal, nah, I don't think we can do much about that, to be honest. It's a fairly... It's not a wonder strike, but it's a great strike. Evening Jimmy says, Matt, hope you're good. I know we lost yesterday, but there was a lot of positives to take from the game. We look a lot better in shape and look dangerous going forward, but never finish it off and play some good football as well as negative. Well, what can I say? The ref, awful. Worst I've ever seen. I never knew it was 8 yards now. Shocking. We keep playing like that, we'll win more than we lose. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. And yeah, Ings looked sharp yesterday when he came on. Did more in 10 minutes than Cannon has done all season. Harsh. I've heard a few of those as well about what's Tom Cannon done and all this sort of stuff, but I think that's harsh. I thought Tyrese Campbell scored a great goal yesterday. I don't think he's done much else this season other than that. I thought when Cannon had a partner in Danny Ings, I thought he looked a lot better. I thought he looked better in a 2. And I think Ty Campbell would look better in a 2 as well. That's not a Cannon's better than Campbell claim or anything like that. But I genuinely think we need to, if we're going to go with 2 strikers, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance as a 2. So, let's see. Shall we jump into our first caller? Let me see if I can unmute him first. Maybe bring some positivity back to this conversation. Brett, how's it going, pal?
All right. Quite positive still, surprisingly.
Yeah, positive. Nice, mate. Nice. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday then, bud?
It's best we've played all season. Like,
I think so.
See a lot of improvement in it from everywhere on pitch. And I do think we're the best side. Like, I said to my dad, like halfway through the match, I said, you can tell we're better side, we're creating better chances. I think Southampton just looked a little bit calmer on ball than we did. I think because we were trying to press tempo and keep it up tempo and that, we looked a bit more panicky on ball, like looking to keep it quick. But the only bad sign I saw really were like how many times we passed back to Cooper. Like they must think he's like Pirlo at back, because we can go free kick in their area or in their half, and we're in 2 passes back to Cooper for distributing long ball over the top.
I was gonna mention this actually. I'm glad you've brought it up because, like, I think everybody knows I love Michael Cooper. I think he's best goalkeeper in the league, and we wanted me and Dave Morwood. We've been banging this drum for 3 years to bring him in. Dave Morwood, who's based Plymouth way, and his grandson's a Plymouth lad. He's been watching him for a long time. Knows all about him. Action Location were another one that were on about it for a long time. I think last season proved what a great goalkeeper he can be. I think this season he's not looked at the same level, but I've seen people giving him loads of stick, like over the last few games, and mate, it's justifiable. It's people's opinion, but in my opinion, I think you look at last night, for example. I think they're playing ball back to him, and he looks like a player with no confidence. He looks like a goalkeeper who's nervous to receive the ball, particularly at his feet. They were obviously
nervous when he nearly
mate, opening 10 minutes, weren't it? He got caught. I'm not sure whether it was Ross Stewart or who it was, but he got caught in possession, and he had to dive on top of the ball to recover it. And I said to a lad next to me, who was a Southampton fan, I said, there's a part of me that's quite glad he's been caught out there with no consequence, because he's done that a couple of times where he's held onto it a bit too long. And hopefully it will send a message to him not to mess about with it at the back, because he don't look confident enough to be taking it with his feet. I know he's okay distributing with either foot and stuff like that. His distribution can be worked on, but he can kick it out with his left or his right. I just think he's looked a little bit susceptible. So you're right. They do play a lot of balls back to him. But last season they'd have dealt with them. I think he needs a little bit more confidence before they start peppering him with us.
The thing as well as people moaning about Cooper, you've got to realise in 8 games we've played, he's probably had more shots than we had all last season at him.
True.
Because we have been that bad. Like they were walking through us, and he has saved some like really good saves, but it's like everything. We had Endo, didn't we? I mean, brilliant keeper, but he always had a mistake in him. Like, yeah, he was a brilliant keeper. He'd pull off some absolute worldly saves, but then you'd have one that would trickle through under his foot.
Yeah, that's right.
He did have
that's right.
So you never had the thing yet. But yeah, the only other one that I had was Benny when he went through, I think, in first half, and he went clean through, running with ball, and he run to byline, and there was nobody in box.
Yeah.
And my dad was saying, well, he can't cross it because there's no one there. And well, he was in front of defender. I said, why don't you just run into box and shoot? Why, if you can see there's nobody there, why run to byline? Because he ran to byline, stopped, and then had to. Well, he got tackled, I think. He tried pulling it back.
I'm more with your dad with that, you know. And I don't. You make a great point, and if he can see
I was saying, I don't think it's bad. I think that was a confidence thing. I think if there's only you there, it's like Campbell. You know, sometimes now when you see Campbell's eyes, I think if you've got confidence, you tend to think I could probably go for that. And you were under pressure. Like when I say he would clear through, there were defender behind him, but were with him, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah, and if he can see that there's a clear run at goal and he's free, then go towards goal. I understand that point, but he should be able, as a winger, which is what he is, he should be able to get to the byline and put a ball in box and expect somebody to be running in on the end of it. That's exactly how Aware got the winner against Oxford. So.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it?
Should be happening.
He's the only fast player. There's always going to be miles in front of everybody else.
Well, yeah, so. but that's where it's striking. And this isn't just Campbell. This is where Tom Cannon and also the 10 in O'Hare, I'd expect Hamer to be anticipating it as well. That's where they need to be following into the box and anticipating that ball coming in, because Ogbenny has got the ability to beat his man and get to the byline. So that's what we want, bodies in the box, so that we can have a chance at scoring a goal maybe once every now and again.
Well, that's the same, and they're the only 2 negatives. Like the only 2 things that I saw. Everything else, we were playing all right. We played more attacking. We looked not more attacking, but more threatening in attack. Like, you could believe if we go up front, we look dangerous up there sometimes. Ty Campbell were a class finish for his goal.
Yeah, it was.
Referee made me laugh at one point because that 8 yards weren't even 8. We were like dead on level where we were watching it out. His first stride was like a proper stride. And then every stride got smaller, smaller,
I
smaller.
know.
By the time
I
I'm
know.
thinking, it's about 6 yards. It's not even that. And the thing is, when he took free kick, he hit him on head, on wall on head. I'm thinking if that were 10 yards, that could have been top corner. Little
know.
fine margins, but it were making me laugh because there were a guy at the side on us. And he said, I've never seen the referee shrink so much. So he started out at 5'9" and he just going down as he started walking through.
Talk
Like,
to me.
even the Southampton player jumped back, and then when he realised referee had stopped, he like moved himself back onto the wall again where it were down at too far.
What did you make? What did you make to ref overall, mate? And remember, it's a family channel.
I was gonna say I can't swear on it. To be fair, it was so many bad decisions. Like, I don't like digging refs out. And to be fair, I had a chat with the resident ref as well. Chat while I was there.
Okay. Oh.
Them Southampton players, about 70 minutes, they were looking around at each other, thought, we can do what we want here. It's like, they just seemed to like, I think, and then you noticed they started pushing a bit more when balls coming up back in air and shoving it back. You're thinking, it'd have blown up if that had been other way round. And I know you can say it's like a defensive bias rather than a team bias, but I still didn't see much wrong with City Peck's goal. Again, our level with where we are, we're on that corner, so we're basically straight on goal line. And I couldn't see anything else. Like, I said to my dad before they took kick into box, I said, judging by all decisions we've had here, he's going to blow up for this. Before it goes in, he's going to blow for a foul here. And I said, you can do it with any corner. Any corner, free kick goes into box. There's always a bit of tussle. There's always a bit of, like I said,
there is.
Shoulder to shoulder. If you want to blow up for something, there's about 5-10 rules that can say you can disallow that. There's got to be some common sense at point when you start doing it. I think that's what calmed me down. Because like you say, rules. If you've put your hand on a keeper, don't matter how much force you put on. If he looks at that, he can blow up straight away. But a lot of the time, they don't. Like, the only thing that made me laugh was the fact that everybody else had clicked onto whistle about 2 minutes after it had happened, and City Peck was still running off to celebrate. And that there you go, like breaking corner flag.
I know, bless him, chuffing hell. Brett, thank you for getting us started, mate. Always good to speak to a positive blade. And I'll
good, mate. Like I said, best performance we've had. So it's getting better incrementally.
Nice one, mate. Catch up with you soon.
You too, mate.
Cheers, Brett. Straight into Jamie Dumpling. Look at that, seamless. You weren't ready for that, were you, Dumpling? Oh, no, you're muted, and that's my fault. Go on, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, yeah. Sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah.
How'd you go, mate?
Enjoy. To be fair, I enjoyed game a lot. It were, ignoring result, it were one of the more entertaining games we've had all season. And if result had gone our way, I don't think many people complaining even about the performance. But obviously, we lost, and it's a robbery. And I don't use that word lightly, but it were at the end of the day. That were disgraceful. You've got Wednesday arts, I know, and Southampton fans saying, yeah, that were bad. That's when you know it's not going right.
I remember you've been saying that in chat this morning. And I also have to say, thank you for your latest addition to the Platinum chats. And I think a couple of the Ramble chats where you're doing your tactical breakdowns. Jamie Dumpling and his random flip-flops and ketchup bottles and coasters and everything else. So this guy is Ty Campbell. This is a flip-flop. This is the right flip-flop. And he passes to the napkin, which is Callum O'Hare. And if you see people overlapping here, this is where they all get out of the way, Bungle, or whatever your dog's called. Love it, mate. I absolutely love the addition to the chat. So what did you make to the tactical setup yesterday? We'll start with, since you are our new tactical analyst.
To be fair, I think I was glad he played Ben Mee from the
Agreed.
Start.
So was I.
I know obviously Godfrey's away on personal reasons, but I do think it was the right decision to probably play me. But I did notice at times they kept catching on to what we were trying to do. And when their players realised we can get away with anything here, fouls-wise, you notice that when they start pushing over Ogbenny and that, they sort of just start to get hold of like the whole of their defence, of our attack, where you just could not get through them because either they're tackling you and it's a foul, which isn't given, or they're just good players.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think some Southampton fans were saying they could have had one of their centre halves get sent off. I think it's who is it now? One that pushed
Quansah, is it something like that?
Yeah, I think he shouldn't have even been on the pitch at that point. Yeah,
well, I'll be speaking to Gaz about that because I think the ref could have, if the ref were going to bottle it, I thought he could have got away with a yellow personally because I think there were two of them behind Ogbenny. But we'll see what Gaz has to say. But did you think it would have been a red? Because a lot of people agreed with that, by the way, in real time as well, Jay.
To be fair, at the time, I thought it were on edge of box, like it were really, really close. But
it were on edge, weren't it? It was, weren't it? I've not seen it back, but
he fell over in the penalty box. So it's like 50-50. It comes down to Lino. But especially if it's a free kick, that's a red card. That's not even contention. That is a red card because it's last man. Well, you could probably argue there's cover, but yeah, it's a red card for me. But I think tactically, I don't think we could have done much more because a lot of the players, as people have said, they're not fit. Tom Davis can't do a full 90. It's a miracle he did 65. Danny Ings clearly isn't up to scratch, but he's hopefully going to get there. So I think it's just a case of building on match for match. But
I thought he looked well, Danny Ings, when he came on. I thought it looked good.
He did. It's class. It's that experience. You can tell the player that he is. And I think he could be really good next to either Cannon or Campbell, just to help link that up. You saw Danny Ings nearly threw on goal because Cannon flicked on. That's the type of link up you want.
Yeah.
So I think it could work really well, but not our night.
Not our night, mate. Not our night. And what did you make to some of the refereeing decisions? Did you think the ref cost us? Because you've already said robbed. Do you think it was the ref that cost us, or do you not think we did enough on the night?
I do think I noticed it at times. Campbell, what I like doing, you saw this on his goal, he wants to place it top corner. He don't want it like sort of middle of the goal where it's sort of like to the side. He wants it top corner, which I rate. That means it's either going in or it's wide. And we saw that a few times. Shut up, dog. We saw that a few times where he's through on goal, and even when he hits it with his weak foot, it's a good hit, but it's wide because he's trying to place it that perfectly. But I don't think we tested Alex McCarthy enough because he's not a great goalkeeper. You saw that a few times. You said
that, but I thought he made a great save early in the second half when we caught him on the op with a free kick. Gus Hamer laid it down the near post. Callum O'Hare was the only one onto it. It was pretty much not through, but he had a clear shot on goal. And Alex McCarthy spread himself really well and kept it at 1-0. Because if it had gone to 2, then I think we win the game. So Alex McCarthy, although I think he looked pretty dodgy with his feet, so there are holes in his game definitely. And lads next to me who were Southampton lads were saying exactly the same. I think he kept him in that game with that save from O'Hare from the free kick, personally. I don't know whether you agree with that, mate.
I think it's probably just a case of not our night, not taking the chances that we did have. And we didn't have many, to be fair. And I think they had quite a few more than us. And the ref didn't help at times, like with the penalty, the free kick wall not even being set up right, them kind of things.
Crazy that. What did you think to, before I let you go, what did you think to equaliser that never was?
I knew him. I heard it immediately. The whistle. So when people celebrate, I was like, I can't even get up. I think I did like half a second of celebrating, but heard it immediately. I didn't even see City Peck run off because I was like, I had my head in my hands, just absolutely gutted. But it is what it is, and it'll come one day. But it's the fact it's him of all players.
I know. Typical, innit, mate? Typical. Right, mate, I will let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Jamie Dumpling, who is a regular on this channel now, becoming part of the Ramble furniture. I really appreciate you coming on, pal. I'm going to go straight in because you've given me a little bit of a breakdown on what you thought of the ref. Positive Keith, old Brett gave us a little bit of a thought of what he thought of the ref. I'm going to bring Gaz straight on, so I'll say ta-ra to you, Jamie. See you soon, pal.
In a bit.
Good luck, Gaz. See you soon. Gaz,
Yeah.
how you doing, pal?
Yeah, good, Jimmy. How's you?
Yes, good, thank you, mate. The man in black on to answer all the questions. The spotlight is firmly on. No, I'm only kidding, mate. So, just to remind everybody, for those that don't know, we had a great chat a couple of weeks ago doing a watch-along, me and Gaz, where people put a load of questions to Gaz, who is a qualified referee, runs a lot of lines professionally, don't you, mate? And quite high up in the Women's Super League and Women's Championships. Look, I will give you your flowers, mate. You deserve it. So, and I think you're a fantastic. You've got a fantastic way of relaying information to us and making me actually like referees. So you've got a job on your hands tonight, mate, because that performance yesterday, I don't want to put you in a difficult position. And this is the one thing I'll ask people not to do if they've got anything that they want you to answer. It's not really a Q&A like we've done before, I suppose, but I want people to know that I'm not asking you to dig anybody out here, but how did you see the game yesterday? As a ref, how did you see it being managed yesterday?
Yeah, that's pretty difficult to start with, actually.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, it's fine. And I knew I wouldn't be talking about the game tonight and things like that. I'm quite comfortable with that.
We will. We'll get onto it. But I think I'd be remiss not to ask a ref what he thought.
I'll break down the key points that people have spoken to me about, and when I talk, I'm talking about the way Gaz done referees and what Gaz would do in that situation, etc., etc., etc. I am not a Football League referee for a reason. I'm not a Premier League referee for a reason. And these are just my interpretations and just to give my insight on how I see his thought process, how I see what I would do with my thought process, etc. And I've said that before anyway. So I'll start with the me challenge. Me personally, I think it's a fair challenge, but I can see why referees are clamping down on them sort of challenges because they're trying to prevent that happening again. So just to give a bit of an insight onto that one is he's gone in like that. If he lets that go, the next time somebody goes in like that, they might get away with it again. But the next time, he might mistime it totally, and there's a player with a broken leg. So what the referee, I think, has done there is he's trying to clamp down on that first and foremost and prevent any more challenges like that going in. And that's what did happen, to be fair.
I get that. So sorry to interrupt you, Gaz, but if that's the case where he thinks, where you think as a ref, and I thought in real time, that's a fair challenge. I understand your thought process there, and you're sort of breaking it down by saying, well, he can't let those sort of tackles be the norm for this game, so let's just calm it down. Even giving him a free kick, I could understand that, but why would you book him? Why would you book him?
So he hasn't, Jimmy. So he didn't book him, believe it or not. He didn't book me. So he didn't book me for that challenge. He cautioned Campbell for running at him, and who was their right back or left back? And he cautioned
Manning.
Yeah, so he cautioned them two for running at him. Right, so I know why. So Manning's ran at him first.
Right.
And then Campbell's ran at him and then pushed Manning out of the way.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
And that's why the caution. So he hasn't cautioned me and that. Okay. And that's my thinking. But he might have actually thought he caught him with the other leg first and just didn't have the angle to see that it was a good challenge.
Okay, I can live with that.
But yeah, in my opinion, I'd probably let that go. But that's me.
Yeah, but you understand why he didn't.
Yeah, and that's the only process I can think of there. The Obeni one isn't a red card. I think it's a foul. I think for me, and I'm an assistant referee more than I'm a referee, where the referee is in that field of play, depending on the pre-match, I'm probably giving that as an assistant referee.
Okay.
The reason being is, as an assistant referee, your area of credibility on breaks like that, when the referee is sprinting, and trust me, they overtake players. Some of these referees are really quick. Gain gets bigger. If a break like that's happening, the referee's trying to catch up to play or get back into position where he thinks he should be. And I think the assistant referee needs to give that, in my opinion. And I would give that personally, rightly or wrongly. Some referees would go to me at half time or full time and go, "Guys, I don't want that."
Yeah.
And some do that, and some will do that. I think it's not a red card. I would not expect a red card for that. And if somebody comes out and says that differently next week, then I will say and go, yeah, Gaz done got that wrong.
So it's a yellow card, free kick on edge of box, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is for me.
I thought the same. I thought the same at the time, but he didn't give. Is there any? Has he just? He can't have missed it. Does he just thought he's made a meal of it, or what's? And I'm asking you for an assumption here rather than a thought
this
process.
is a massive assumption. My thinking is he hasn't seen it,
right?
Or he's seen the contact, but no, I don't even think he can see the contact and not think it's impactful.
Is he relied too much on AR to give it, and AR's not given it?
No, I don't think he does. I think, in my opinion, there'll be I'm really elaborating now, where it's a case of
we're speculating, aren't we?
Yeah, we're massively speculating. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking here as much as I can of trying to play it back through my head of where the referee was and where the assistant referee is. My only thinking is he hasn't seen it. And maybe the assistant referee was concentrating on the back line at that point for an offside. I'm not 100% sure. It's been missed. I don't think it should be missed. And I think 99.9% of referees, and when he sees that back, in my opinion, and I've been there when you've missed something, he'll be going, yeah, I missed that one, I think.
So I've agreed with you twice now, mate. I think that he's got one right, as you've explained it to me with Ben Mee. I understand the thought process behind it. I know what you mean in terms of you'd have let it go, but I can understand why he's given it. It makes complete sense to me with the law of the game and how he wants the game to go. He's missed that Ogbenny one, and I agree with that as well. I think it's one that he's just missed. Two more decisions I want to quickly talk you through, and then we'll talk about the game very quickly as well. Was it a penalty to Southampton?
I'll be honest, when I saw it in real time, and this is why I can see why the referee gave it, I thought it was a penalty. I thought it was the most blatant penalty you'll ever see in your life. I honestly no belief from when I was watching on TV.
Yeah.
That is what I thought. I saw the replay, and by the time Cooper touches him, he's pretty much on his knees praying.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's literally. He goes down in stages. He's gone into. Cooper's tried to pull out of it, and this is and this is the hardest thing you have as referees now. Is players will, rightly or wrongly, will do every little bit to gain an advantage, and you can't blame them for that in some sense. I don't like diving. I hate diving, but yeah, he's. I will say he's probably conned the referee there.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I could see from where I was. I could see it were a dive, but it's not easy to see when you first watch it. We watched it back on TV as well to confirm, and it were a dive. It were a dive. We went down in stages, didn't it?
As soon as I watched the replay, I was like, dive. Literally, with it instant, as soon as I saw the replay, I said dive. But I have to admit, when I first saw it, I thought that's a penalty, 100% penalty. I
could talk to you for ages about this, guys. It's not fair on other people waiting. But don't apologise. It's me that's keeping you because I want to know about these decisions, and then I want you to talk about game because that's what you've called in to talk about. But
no, that's fine. I don't mind talking.
The equaliser that City Peck scores. I know I've touched on it already, but I think you may agree with me here. I think Cannon's give him a decision to make instead of, I'm not saying I agree with the decision, but Cannon, it's indisputable that Cannon's got his arms around him. Whether you think it's 6 1 half dozen other, or whether you think it actually impedes the goalkeeper or not, which obviously the ref would lean into saying it does. I think Cannon has to look at himself there and say, if you don't touch him at all, it's a goal. So, what were your thoughts on that call for a disallowed goal?
Yeah, so there's a few things that I've seen fly around the group, and that people are saying, oh, there's a foul on. I think it was McAllister in the middle, was it? People are saying he's holding him. That for me, you're only going to give it if the player that's getting fouled is never, ever, ever going to get near that ball. It's got to be something really blatant, i.e., I'm going to see a massive triangle with his shirt. He's been pulled massively. Yeah. It's so blatant that you're going to give it. Otherwise, you're going to give it, and it's all about a graph about impact. I've spoken about impact and that before, and then when it comes down to Cannon, forget that. Then when it comes down to Cannon, as soon as he even wraps his arm a little bit around him, he literally gives him a hug, even with one arm or two, I can't remember which. But as soon as you do that, you're opening yourself up, and it's exactly what you say, Jim. As soon as you do that to a goalkeeper, the expectation is, and the game expectation, and I put this in the group last night, I said, how annoyed would you be if we just conceded a last-minute equaliser and you've just seen that happen to our goalkeeper? You're asking for it, aren't you? And it's one thing I say to players all the time is, I go, they're asking for penalties, and I'll turn around and go, if I gave that against you, you'd be freaking balmy, going balmy about it. So,
right. Absolutely right. I think we know, whether you agree with it or not, we know that the goalkeeper is the most protected position on the pitch as well. Yeah. So if you're going to impede someone, don't impede the goalkeeper. Take it, have a little grab of the best header's shirt so he's not quite as mobile, and do it subtly. Don't put your arms around the goalkeeper where people are watching for you to whether you're impeding him or not. So I'm not saying it were a bad foul, because I don't think it was by Cannon, but he's given the ref an option to disallow it there. So.
We always say to people, as soon as you give players, players 9 times out of 10 are the ones that give referees decisions to make.
Yeah.
If you put yourself out there, you're in the hand of the referee. And as soon as you do that, okay. Rather than me talking about the game, Jimmy, I will talk about one other decision first. I'll let the likes of Man Mountain, who's a lot more better at the football side of it.
He's not on. I'm not going to have him back on. No.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Go on, mate.
But
go on then.
About the wall, everyone keeps going on about the wall, and I did put this on the group today. I'm only 5'9". All right, I know I've got diddy steps and things like that. So, and I'll go through what I do for a wall, and then I'll go on to the way the referee dealt with it last night. Is I know I have to take a massive first step, because I know what my stride pattern is to do 10 yards, believe it or not, because I'm that sad.
Finicky.
So I know I take that big first step, and then I count 10 from that after that, because nobody
count
sees
10. That's what the rules are, guys. You count to 10. That's what I appreciate about your yardage, whether it's short or not.
So the first thing I would do as a referee, if I was in that decision, in that position, I'll be honest with you, I would never have recounted it. I would have just gone, just play. You're either playing or you don't. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Or once you do it, you've got to move them back.
Of course you have. Of course.
And I do feel for him there, and it's very much everyone makes a rash decision. Everyone's mind goes elsewhere, and the mental pressures, and et cetera, and that's the only thing I could probably say about that one. I think the ref put himself in a position there.
Well done, mate. Well done. I wasn't going to ask you about that one, because I thought that were a layup, that it were obviously got it wrong, and I think that's putting it.
But he'll know that, and
he will.
Everyone knows when they've made mistakes, and I'm not digging him out at all. I'll be honest. I've never met a referee. I haven't. He's on a championship game for a reason. No matter what anybody says about that, he's there for a reason. There's a reason I don't referee in the championship. He's a better referee than me, and I'm not going to dig him out for that. But it's all about managing situations and everything like that.
Can I ask you a question rather than Gaz the ref? Can I ask Gaz the Blade? Did you see enough in that performance from United yesterday to be confident that we're going to be all right?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Tom Davis, man of the match. Absolute class.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I thought he did really well.
I thought it was brilliant. Let's be honest. Let's take the referee out of this equation. If we play like that and took our chances yesterday, we win that match.
Yeah, we do.
They probably had 2, maybe 3 chances at a push, and one's a worldie that got all your hands up. Why was it talking though a freaking corner all of a sudden? God knows, and let the smallest man on the pitch win an header. But other than that, 100%. First half performance was class. We should have probably put them to bed early in the second half when O'Hare has that opportunity. Campbell has a great opportunity as well at 1-1. We'll be fine. Do I think we're getting? I was saying top 10 a week ago. I think that'll be a push, but never say never when you've got Wilder in charge. And those that say that's never a red card, that's a red card every day of the week. Yeah. But it's the same if you throw the bottle. Anything you do aggressively like that in excessive force, that's it.
Is it a one gamer then, Gaz? We're all right with that.
Yeah. Unless something untoward comes of it, it should be just a one.
So it won't be in dugout for Hull.
Oh, it won't be in the dugout for Hull.
Okay. No. Nice one. Gaz, thank you so much, pal. Always appreciate you coming on. And I will catch up with you in a bit.
Pal.
Cheers,
Take
mate.
care, pal.
Cheers, buddy. Top man. Cheers, Gaz. Love that. I feel for Gaz because he's a Blade first and foremost, and he'll want to come on and talk about United, but he's that good a fella. He knows what the talking points are from the game, and he'll put us right because he's the best man to do that for us as a qualified ref. So, right, let's get back into some comments before I get to the rest of the callers. Josh says, to be honest, the only decision that I disagreed with was sending Wilder off. Penn was a stone wall. I disagree with that, pal. And Cannon clearly pushed the keeper. Sadly, we were better, but we just weren't good enough. Jack says, we need to start picking up points, 7 or 8, and losing to teams that aren't in form. Our midfield is still far too easily bypassed, in my opinion. Chris says, let's address Campbell's poor form. I watched him all game. He does nothing. Looks lazy. Doesn't press. No runs. He seriously needs dropping. The only positive is he scored. I'll come back to that, Chris, because you've made a couple more points. The officials have been poor for some time, but last night was diabolical. Maybe refs and linos should get red cards for their poor decisions. Well, they get graded, don't they? We know that from previous discussions with Gaz as well. They get graded on each performance, and they'll either be, if they're really deemed to be poor, then they'll get a lower ranked game. And it's likely this ref had a good performance in his League 2 performance, and he's gone up the leagues. I'm not so sure he'll be well marked for the latest one. I wish we could play with more tempo. I agree with that. We are so slow with our build-up play. It gives teams a chance to get set. It needs to be better. Davies played well, but I think Peck needs a rest, to be honest, both physically and mentally. Some really good points there. I think you're harsh on Ty Campbell. Just looking at Susan's comment, actually. Hey, Jimmy, I disagree with Chris about Ty. When he gets into the poacher's position, he's very capable. We've been asking for better service for him, and he showed us what he can do. So I'm going to have splinters in my backside here, and I'm going to sit on the fence between both of you because I think Susan is backing Ty Campbell, which is admirable, and I love that. Chris is saying he's not been good enough, which again is a fair criticism if you look at his form throughout the season. I think to say he's lazy is harsh. I'm not sure he's fit. I'm not sure he's like fully fit, if I'm honest. I think that is more a reason rather than him being lazy. I did see a bump in levels since his goal, which I'm delighted he scored because hopefully we'll get more out of him. And then I think he faded again. I think he faded, and that's when he got taken off. So I think fitness might be an issue for Ty Campbell, which we've talked about. But Susan's also right. We have seen what he can do when he gets in the right positions. I thought he did really well. I thought the defender... I mean, we can watch it again, can't we? Let's have a look. Look at the defender here. If you're Fancy here, you're getting dug out at by your teammates. It's really, really poor from him. Letting Ty Campbell, you should be showing him onto his right foot all day long. Just show him the line, and he doesn't. He steps in, allows him to get around him and bend his left foot around it into the top corner. It's not good enough from the defender, but Ty's had a lot of work to do and done it well. So I agree with both of you on that point. I think he can do better, but Susan's right. He can. We do also know what he can give us. What did Hamface get a red for? Hamface being Chris Wilder for some Leeds fans up the Ramble marching on together. He booted a ball into the crowd and it hit someone, and he went and apologised straight away, but he got sent off for it. Ref should have sent off, not CW. How much does he get paid, says Jace. Was definitely a foul on the keeper, says Lofts. Can't believe Hamface kicked a ball at one of his own supporters. It was a foul on the keeper, I thought. Well, it wasn't necessarily... Yeah, you can see why he gave a foul. I will say that. Cannon was the reason the goal at the end got disallowed. I'm tired of this guy. He's a liability. He does naught for us, and he's such an awful player. The Cannon experiment is over. Let him go. Beast Boy, I cannot give you the credibility that you so desire when you were... If I offered you Ryan Brewster today, you would start him in our team. And that to me... lowers the credibility, because I don't agree with you that Brewster was of the level that you thought, and I do think you're too harsh on Cannon. Too harsh. I'm not saying it's not justified to be very disappointed in how he's done. He'll be disappointed himself. I thought he looked better in a 2 alongside Ings, but he's not got anywhere near the levels that we wanted him to, has he? I think if Danny Ings is fit, then I'd like to see Campbell and Ings up top. I'm spoiling my team for Countdown to kick off tomorrow, but I'd like to see Campbell and Ings up top, personally. Alessandro says, much improved performance from us. We should have buried it with that O'Hare chance from the free kick. Southampton's second goal, fair enough. Just a dreadful ref ruined it. A point would have been fair. I agree with that. Gaza says, awful defending for the first goal. Terrible refereeing. Why was the equaliser disallowed? Tom Cannon, weren't it, holding the keeper? Pete says, hi Jimmy, what a better performance from the boys. Some tired and lost focus in midfield for the second goal. When City scored, did anyone see McGuinness with 3 players pulling at him in the 6-yard box? Up the Blades, up the Ramble. So that must have been who Gaz were on about. Because did he say somebody like McAllister? He meant McGuinness. I didn't know whether he meant McCallum, but I didn't see. No, was somebody pulling on McGuinness? Well, that doesn't surprise me either, to be honest. Peace Boy says, one thing I did not expect was Tom Davies to play that well. He was unstoppable yesterday. Wilder's talked about how Tom Davies can be a real impact player for us this season. I think we've all seen when Tom Davies is fit, he can have a real impact in this side, but when is he fit? That's the question, unfortunately, and it's not very often. Rob says, evening Jimmy, I'm still seething about the ref who should never officiate a championship game again. But having said that, we need to score more than one. Campbell in the second half was easier than his goal. Yeah, he did miss a... We're on his right foot, weren't it? And he bent it off at bar when it looked easier to score. Paul Young says, he always finds the space when he has the ball at his feet, reads the game well, Beast Boy. Meaning Cannon, I think you mean. How much did you pay for Cannon, says Lofts? It were 4 rising to 7, I believe, rather than the quoted 10. Tom Davis, Paul Young were on about. Nick Cook says 4 mil, I believe. Loss up to 10 if certain clauses were met, I believe, anyway. Could be wrong. I think you were up to 7, but yeah, that's what I'd heard as well, Nick. Super Sharp Blade says, got to be honest, I think 9 out of 10 refs would have given the penalty and the same would have been disallowed for our goal. It was what was Cannon thinking? Paul says, can't afford to start getting that losing mindset. Terrible result for you. I think the performance was the best we've seen this season. You're right in terms of a losing mindset, and this is what I was talking about before. We can't let too much of this happen, but I don't think they'll be too disheartened by yesterday's game, if that makes sense. Brett says, plenty of positives to take from last night. We're the better team overall against a good Southampton side. Campbell and Davies looked good. Keep playing like that and we go up the table, up the positive ones, up all the rambles. Thank you, mate. Wyburn Blade says, played much better yesterday. Hard to play against 12 men and Lady Luck just seemed to be on their side. Hopefully Tom Davies can stay fixed. He's a progressive midfielder. We need to gel the team. Definitely positives to take an improvement, but we need points over performances. Are you confident we stay up, Jimmy? I'd take lower mid-table. Yeah, I'm very confident we stay up, pal. Very confident. Sorry, I thought that was the same person, but it weren't. It were Wyburn Blade with first comment and Alex with thinks they've colour-coded it, same thing, aren't they? There you go. That's just me age, I'm afraid. Scott says, evening, Jim. No point talking about the ref anymore. We know it was shocking, but we did more than enough to have come away from that game with at least a point. Finally, pleased for Campbell to get his goal. We'll do him the world a good. I hope you're right, pal. Davis had a great game. Will great results playing like that? I know in the champ you can play bad and win and play well and lose. We go again. Up all the rambles, up the Blades. Alex says, over to the owners in January, give Wilder the backing and leave him to do it. Leave him to it this season is on the owners. Yes, players have to take responsibility, but the decisions in the summer have caused this. Chipbot says Davis is a prime example of what we need in midfield. He's aggressive and not afraid to put a tackle in. Peck just stands off the players and all the time. Don't get me started on Cannon. On a positive note, says Alex, that 10k is looking closer. Like and subscribe up the ramp. We're not far away at all, pal, now. Not far away. Let's have a current count. We're on 9797. So if you're not already subscribed to the Ramble, then please do. If you give us a like, it sort of gets us seen in more places. YouTube pushes it out to more people saying it's interesting content, this. If you subscribe, it means that it's completely free as well. If you subscribe, it's you get to see us on your... It's the equivalent to the For You page on TikTok, I think it is, as the kids say now. So you'll get us in your list of subscriptions, and if you tap the bell, it'll notify you on your phone or device or whatever that we're coming on. So that would be nice. If you're not already, and you enjoy what we do, obviously don't do it just as a favour to me, but if you enjoy what we do, then that would be very much appreciated. Where are we? We'll get to the 7... We'll get to an hour behind the comments, and then we'll get our next caller on. Sneaky Squeak says, really frustrating game, deserves something from it. Ref killed it for us. Think we might get 10k before our next win, says Beast Boy. Tom, not from Barnsley, says the frustrating thing was that if it wasn't for that ref, we probably would have won that game. The good news, however, is also if it wasn't for that ref, we probably would have won the game. Nice, Tom. I see what you've done there, pal. See what you've done. Blade Running says, good to see the Blades playing some attractive football. Confidence is certainly growing, which is encouraging. I've accepted that promotion isn't going to happen this season. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I'm not willing to write that off yet, but I can't talk about it because it sounds so laughable when we are rock bottom of the table with 3 miserly points. Ref's previous game before last night was in League 2 and it showed. George says, Agent Charles, mind the gap. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, pal, to comment. Appreciate it. Bryce says, evening all, welcome to the Ramble. Hope everyone is well. For me, I saw nothing wrong with City's goal. There was lots of pushing and shoving by all the players in there as every corner. 3 of their players pulling one of ours to the ground. Is that not a foul and therefore a pen? How much protection do keepers get? Some say too much. Sly 2.0 says, how is Bamford not being considered? If you move in certain circles, apparently he is being considered. Evening all, forget the ref. He was poor, to put it mildly, but we played well. After say Cannon was poor again, says Ray. Beardman says, I enjoyed the game for the most part. Some good clear-cut chances. Cheeky set plays. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Rai says, the game was way too big for the ref. Onwards and upwards. Michelle says, I definitely think we're turning a corner. I agree. I think we are. Now then, I think we're turning a corner. I'm sorry, I'm just being distracted by the next comment. Gabe, my boy, come on, we're better than this. He just puts a Michael Cooper ... Look, I'm not going to forget where we are in that conversation, are we? So I can go to our next caller now, I think. So let me just take him off mute. And look, we've gone from a positive Blade to one that's not always so positive. Actually, I don't know what order I've put these in at, so I need to make sure I've got the right one. Yeah, it is. It's who I think it is. So we've gone from Brett the Positive Blade to Mark Meldrew. How's it going, pal?
Evening, pal. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Radio Sheffield's own Mark Meldrew, I have to say.
Let's not get carried away.
Been on Praise the Grumble tonight, haven't you?
I have. Don't mind ringing up every now and again, but
nice one,
felt
mate.
I needed to after last night.
So you were telling me just before we came on that it were Andy Giddins that you were on with. What did you choose to talk about on Radio Sheffield, mate?
So we were just touching on sort of all decisions that sort of happened last night, and it went through sort of each one. I think saying some are sort of down to certain opinion and what you particularly thought. I didn't necessarily think it were a penalty, but game as it is nowadays, they're going to get good. As soon as he went down, I thought he's pointing to the spot, and he couldn't wait to get it. The one with the Ben Mee tackle, the thing that really got me with that is you get a bit of an indication when you look at a team's reaction to a particular challenge. And I sit John Street side where you do, and the reaction of their player didn't even go down. He got straight back up, and not one of their players sort of indicated to ref that hang on, something's not right here.
Yeah,
and that told me a lot. And then
it were a cheer. The only thing that did it were an eruption from crowd, weren't it? Because they loved the fact that it were such an hard challenge that went in, and that was the sort of go on that sort of thing. It was one of them, weren't it? That's what the commotion was, if you like, from that challenge. It weren't a player reaction.
No, exactly, and I do think from that moment on, I think that's when ref lost control of the game, and I think they knew that they could get away with stuff. And I've seen some of their fans online saying that they thought ref were poor first half. Well, he's given you a penalty that probably weren't a penalty, and you've not took it. Like, I don't see what people must watch different game to me but I thought we were decent value to go in at half time. I didn't think we were overly good, but. We've been better every game that we've played since Wilder's come back.
We were better side in first half, weren't we, as well? I think it was fair that we were up.
I mean, I said it last night in chat, and I've said to a couple of people today, people know what I'm like. I am very up and down and stuff, but I came out of that ground feeling probably more positive, and we lost. It were weird. It were a weird feeling. It were a little bit similar. Probably last time I felt like that when we played Leeds. And we come out and we played really well, but you were just disappointed at coming
like 70 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but Campbell takes that chance. That's 2-2. Whereas that chance, I've watched that back. I think he could square that. I don't think it's as easy as a chance as people give him credit for. I think people just expect him to score, and it were a good chance. But if you watch it back,
do you mean the Campbell one?
No, the away one. I think
Oh,
you can
right.
swear it.
All right.
Potentially, yeah, but you're not going to when you get put in like that. You're having a go, aren't you?
Yeah.
But that goal, man, the disallowed goal. McCarthy's got his hand round Cannon's neck, and I'm not disputing that Cannon's not got his arm up, but he's getting nowhere near it.
I agree.
McCarthy, he's getting nowhere near it, and like I think Gaz were trying to sort of mention it earlier. I think he got names sort of it mixed up, but McGuinness is getting absolutely manhandled 2 yards out on line, and it's gone beyond him. That's not the point. The point is, if you're going to do stuff like that, you've got to be consistent with it.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's just it's frustrating because, I mean, City's scored. I said I fancied him to score before the game. I said
he did.
And he couldn't wait to get it. I mean, we've chucked everything at it last 5 minutes, and I thought Ings looked bright when he come on. Tom Davis for a standout again. I thought he were good. He's just got to stay fit. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And I think behind him in that position, we are really light. We've not seen enough of Samari and Matos, but
agreed.
Signs are looking good. I'm feeling a lot more positive watching that last night, and they'll be up there. Let's not forget that. I think people are looking at them because of where they are in league, but they'll be right up there. That will not face many teams that control a game like they do.
Mate, I don't disagree with anything you've said. I think the only one that I would say on the, like I mentioned to Gaz, was with the disallowed goal. I think we've given him the opportunity to disallow it. I'm not saying it were a foul because I don't think it was, but you know you can't touch a goalkeeper now. And even if it's 50-50, he's not going to let it go, is it? He's not just going to not do anything about it. You're right. If that's a foul, then what's happened to McGuinness? But
I think what got me with that,
at all.
When I watched it back, I think what got me is, my mate's a Donny fan, and he was watching it at home, and he sent me a clip and said, "Tell me what's wrong with this." And people around me were saying, "Oh, what are you watching?" And I got it up, and I watched it 6-7 times, and I'm looking and I'm going, I have not got a clue what he's disallowed that for. I can see why now I've seen it, and to be fair to Gaz, he always gives sort of a good explanation, and it's really handy to have that in chat and get it from a different angle. But it's just timing as well, and it felt like everything just went against us, and like that with Wilder, and that just I couldn't believe that. Like he's clearly shanked one, missed it completely, and gone a bit skew with it, and he's gone up, apologised, he's come back down, and ref stood there with a red in his hand.
I know.
It was crazy, but yeah, I don't think that had much sort of detriment to where game went after that. I think today we talked about that second goal. It's broke to him with a bit of luck, and his rifle one in. You can't do out about that. Cooper, we could have put 2 keepers in there. We would have saved it. First goal more annoyed me more than second goal. Armstrong stood 5 yards out with nobody around him.
Completely agree.
He's made a run to front. He's flicked it on, and then there were 2 or 3 around me saying, "What?"
It was second time that had happened though. Armstrong, smallest man on pitch. It was second time he'd been free in box, free header.
Cooper weren't really on him either. It were like he's just made a dart to front. Got a good leap on him, to be fair. I think that's probably why they do that, possibly, leave him free and try and thingy. But and then it's fell to them in box, and they've scored. But I thought there were more positives than negatives last night, 100%, and that's coming from me. So
I agree. Yeah, it is coming from you, and that I think it was best performance at season, to be honest. And that sounds ridiculous when you've lost a game of football, but it shows how poor we've been this year. And I think we've I were all right with the performance last night. Obviously, we wanted the result more than anything, but I think we're going to Hull, and I think we've half a chance of coming away with not just a result, but I think we could go and beat Hull, to be honest.
Yeah, just to caveat that as well, not to sort of sound like, oh, that's it now, we've turned a corner. I do worry about when we do get these chances, we have got to start taking them, and I have said that in chat and to a few other people. If we don't start doing that, and then like you said, we get cut adrift, then you're sort of looking over it. You're worrying, aren't you?
Performances will dip again, won't they? Because confidence will go.
Confidence will go, and we've got to start turning them chances into goals. But I think a lot of it last night they're a good side. They control game right well. Like them 2 at middle of park, Charles and Yander, they were good. You can see why Wilder likes Charles, can't you?
Yeah,
you can see why you're after him. He had a great game, and that centre half, that 15, that Wood, were it? I think he were really good. But yeah, they controlled it. But listen, we've got to take positives out of it. there were more positives than negatives.
I think so.
And then just go into Hull and keep ball rolling and go from there.
Top man, Marco. Thank you, pal. Always good to chat to you, mate. I'm going to jump straight into the next caller, but I'll catch up with you soon. All right, cheers, buddy.
Mate. Bye.
See you later. Next up, it's Statman. He's the Statman. Skibidi-biding, yo, do. How's it going, pal? Oh, can't hear you. And it's not me. Can't hear you. It's not me. Don't blame me. Not my fault. Oh, look. Looks like you're ready for takeoff as well.
What about now?
Easy.
Sound.
How's it going, mate?
I've been better. I'll be honest with you.
Not been on the channel for a while, mate. I know you're always active in the chat, which I appreciate. But it's been a while.
Busy with work and stuff, and just sort of taking a back seat for a bit while the disaster unfolded.
So you're back on because we've turned the corner, then? Is that why you're back on?
No, just finally sort of had time to do it now. But
okay, mate. What's your thoughts on the game yesterday?
I've got a rage inside me. It's deep in my belly. I have never, ever felt this way about a referee before. Like, I'll accept every team has a bad referee now and again. We had the old one last season, but not on this level. You've
been talking to Super Positive Jack, haven't you?
Unbelievable. I was at work at the time. I was on night shift. And when they disallowed that goal at the end, I felt sick.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't believe it. Siddy got his goal and he was going absolutely mental, like we all knew he would. A true Blazeman, booting the corner flagging off. And he's like, nah, mate. Nah, you're not having that. Ronnie Edwards had him eating out of his hand. He's like, kick the ball, wait first off, and then every time we got any sort of decision, Ronnie Edwards is mouthing off at the referee, but that's okay. You can have that.
So, right, okay. I've got to try and manage you carefully here then, because I want you to be okay. I want you to come off the call a lot more positive than you've come on. I want you to talk to me about how the team played rather than the ref. Yeah. Are you more positive with how United played last night?
Yeah, definitely. This is why I'm so frustrated about it, because the passing triangles were there. Campbell got a goal, which I thought, like, when that happened, I was like, well, this is it now. He's back. He's gonna kick on now, and this is now. We're gonna get him back now. He's got that. He did his celebration that he always does right in front of the away fans. I was like, yep, this is happening. We scored, what was it, 20-something minute? It was like, not even halfway through the first half. It was like, we're at it now. Tom Davies absolutely running the engine in midfield. Peck looked a lot better with him there.
Yeah, he did.
But we was just winning, like, the balls high up the pitch. And we were so unfortunate with some of the passes to go over the top or through the lines that they just got a lucky block in there, like their last man. It was just, if it had been a yard either side, it would have been through on goal so many times. It was just unfortunate, some of them. But
we're creating more chances, though, aren't we, at the minute, than we have been doing? I think we're still a little bit slow in the transition.
The pressing was definitely there, though.
Yeah. I think they were pressing us really well as well. When
you
we
expect that from a team that's just come down from the Premier League.
You would. So I think the fact that we're creating more chances. What would you like to see for Hull? Would you like to see any changes? Do you think he needs to go? Because I'd like us to go to up top. That's where I'm going. But
yeah,
what do you think, mate?
I'd like to. Yeah, I mean,
or would you go with the same team because we played well?
No, I think me might miss out on this one now, because he's just done 2 in the space of 5 days. I think we might see Godfrey might come back in now.
Okay.
Yeah, midfield. I'd like to think Tom Davies is going to start again. Yeah, I don't think it'd be too many changes, but if we are going to go to 2 at the top, then obviously Campbell and Ings would be the one.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is just Ollie McBurney. He's just constantly there in my head.
It's nailed on, isn't it? It's nailed on.
But then I think, well, actually, no. Our defence, if they're going to be on it, then I think they can keep him out, because their whole defensively are poor. They conceded 2 in the space of 10 minutes to Preston.
Yeah.
So, and that was in their own backyard as well. So they've got 2 home games in a row, and they're conceding 2 to Preston in 10 minutes. So I don't think they're that good defensively themselves.
You said that, but didn't we just concede 2 in 10 minutes?
Yeah, but I think with that, I mean, yeah, the second one, there's not a lot you can do about it. The first one, obviously, you need to do better, but I think there might have been a bit of mentality switching off a bit at the start of the second half with Wilder not being there. I think that might have played on some of their minds a little bit.
That won't go down well then, will it?
Yeah,
it's a tough one to take, and I think you're right. I think that may have had a bit of a hangover for the team the second half, where he's not there and it's thrown him off the game a little bit. I think normally he's on the side.
I don't think they let it hang over them for long though. Like they definitely came back into it, and they were going at it again. And after that, we got Benny through on goal and set pieces, and like from the corners and free kicks, looking like we've actually got more of a plan now. Like the cute pass from Harmer from the free kick to pop O'Hare straight through. He did have an option on the back post. City Peck was there, but you kind of expect him to go for the shot there. He was always going to do that. And then same through again with Campbell getting through on goal. And then obviously the corner at the end is another set piece. City Peck scored a header from a corner. Can you believe it? But
well, he never did he? No, it's been unwritten now.
But, officially. That's the thing. Like, what frustrated me with that is in the Premier League, not so long back, Man United's keeper Bayinde, they went to VAR over a goal, and they gave it because he wasn't strong enough. He was just playing for the foul. He wasn't being strong enough, and that's what it looked like to me with their keeper. Because Cannon had an arm around him, but the keeper didn't keep his arms like ready to go for the ball. He was more bothered about handling Cannon himself. And then he thought, last minute, I'll just fall back into my own player because I'm not getting the ball.
I know.
And then obviously Peck
gets the decision.
So
yeah,
I kind of think he just played for the foul there. I mean, obviously the referee gave it, but what makes you think? Well, when it's going to a decision in the Premier League and they're saying the keeper's got to be stronger there.
That's the thing, though. Do we want VAR? Do we not? Because we had it at Wembley and we didn't want it there, did we? And so it's one of them.
I think we needed it yesterday because the linesman must have been blind when Benny went down.
Tell me about it. Right, Jacko, how are we going to do against Hull at the weekend?
Well, I think we'll do a job. I think but it's quite clear that we're building and building. Obviously, whatever they're doing on the training ground is working, and I'm quite looking forward to us getting to the national break because then they're going to have a decent chunk of time to prepare for Watford at home, which ain't too bad a fixtures come back to actually.
Yeah, it's decent.
But yeah, I think we can do a job at Hull. We've definitely got the squad depth there, and if we can play like that against Southampton, who have just been to Liverpool and then drawn against top of the league Middlesbrough, if we can play like that against play like that against a team like that, and realistically, we could have definitely won that game. So yeah, I think we can do a job over Hull. Really, they're not miles away from us.
I agree.
McBurney's scoring a lot.
There is that McBurney thing,
but they are conceding a lot as well.
Yeah, they are.
So if our defence is on the job and keeps McBurney out, Campbell or Ings, whoever is on it, Harmer, if they're on it and we can score, I think we can come away with something, which would be nice before the break, obviously.
Statman Jack, good to have you back on, pal. Don't leave it so long next time.
Yeah, sure.
Speak to you soon, pal.
Yeah,
see you later on.
Mate.
Straight from Jack into Dave Morwood. How's it going, pal?
Jimmy, all right?
I'm okay, mate. How are you?
I'm all right.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it last night. I thought it was a good performance from us.
Yeah,
Best
I agree.
Performance
of the season.
Yeah, but
which is a low bar, isn't it? but I'll give you that. I agree.
Very, very low bar, mate. But there's a couple of things like that got me angry.
Okay.
Today, actually.
All right.
Not in our chat, but in other sort of social media, and people moaning about O'Hare in the second half. That through pass from Gus, all been moaning about him having no power when he shoots. And when he does hit it with power, he should have chipped it delicately.
To be honest, I don't blame O'Hare for that not going. I think it was a good save from the keeper. I wouldn't have expected him to do it any other way. I have been critical of him not having enough power behind his shots, and I would stand by that, but there were plenty of power behind that, and I think he's done exactly what I think even Gad said, or somebody, one of the previous callers said, it might have been Mark. You expect him to put his laces through it like that, and he did exactly that. Yeah, so good save.
Beautifully weighted. It's just right to put your laces through, and
good save.
It was a good save.
Yeah, and I think keepers kept him in it there rather than O'Hare's missed the sitter.
Yeah, so. Definitely. The City Peck no goal.
Yes, talk to me about it, mate.
I'm sort of looking at that maybe about 8 times now, and Cannon's got his arm around him. The keeper's got his arm around Cannon's neck. Our player's been pulled down by 3 of their players on the near post.
I know.
And the defender comes in behind the keeper and impedes him, and they both fall down. And he's disallowed. But I'll bow down to Gaz for his explanation. But all I want is consistency, because if that's a foul, then there's going to be every corner is going to result in it. The way that players hold on to people.
We'll never get that consistency, because that's what we're striving for. But it's all the interpretation of the rules is so subjective. Gaz has come on there, and
it's opinions.
It is opinions, and he's held his hands up and said, "Look, he's not qualified to the same level as the ref was last night. But if that was him in the same position, and they go by the same laws and rules, if that's him in that position, he gives different decisions on 2 of those 4. So." So as much as we want consistency, it's not there, is it? And that's just unfortunate. And that's, I suppose, a lot of that is the beauty of the game, because Southampton will be laughing their way all the way back to St Mary's now.
Delighted.
Yeah, they will be absolutely. And look,
this is the problem. Even with, like we said, with VAR, you get a referee on the pitch that blows or something.
Yeah,
and then he's sent to have a look at it on the screen.
Yeah,
because the guy upstairs has got a different opinion
to him. Exactly right. Yeah.
So it's going to be. We've just got to get on with it, mate. Onwards and upwards. We played well.
Well, this is the thing, innit, Dave? We played well. Are you confident in how we played? Do you think you can see enough in that performance now to say we can kick on now, and we can at least try and get something against Hull to take us into international break with a glimmer of hope?
Yeah. You can see the improvement from when the Charlton game, the Oxford game last night.
Yeah, agree.
It's just, I'm a bit concerned about what you were saying about Tom Davies. Can he play another game? Well, has he got to have a bit of rest now? And
that's the thing. The question mark over Tom Davies has never really been ability, has it? It's been availability.
Availability. Somebody said that once. They
did. And to be honest, I have to say, and I'm going to say this on stream while I remember, and you've just been bigging up Cal O'Hare, David, and you're right to do so. Mr. V messaged me not so long since and said he understands all the points, both for and against Callum O'Hare, but he thinks something that goes unnoticed is the fact that he is always available. He's let's touch wood like that. I don't want to jinx him now.
Yeah,
yeah. But and he's right in so much as not only does he never really run out of steam, but he's come off a bad injury at Coventry. I understand that, but since he's signed for Sheffield United, he's always been available to play, and that is hugely underestimated, I think, in a lot of things. And we know on this chat, like you said, Dave, we were laughing about it. Prince Abdullah came on this channel, and it's been a bit of a theme of the channel since, because it was such a point that resonated with so many people. The best ability is availability, and even my dad quotes it back to me now all the time. And he's right, and that's a lot of the problem that we've had with players like Tom Davies and like Reece Norrington-Davies in the past and stuff like that, where they regularly break. Ryan Brewster was another. They break down, they're regularly injured, unfortunately. No fault of their own, it's just part of their composition, I suppose. But to have a player available so often is key. And Tom Davies, like you're saying now, can we keep him fit? Because he played really well last night, but can we keep him fit? That's the key, isn't it?
Random midfield for us.
Yeah, he did.
You know, like somebody said before, Sidney Peck looked a different player at the side of him.
Yeah, he did. He did.
You know, he was buzzing around him like, you know.
I
like
agree.
Nothing. But, if you want to know what I thought of the referee...
Do I have to bleep you? Hang on, let me see if I can get my bleep on. No, I'm not going to. Go on, what did you think, ref?
I thought it was... That's what I thought, mate.
Yeah. I'm glad I had my finger on the pulse there with that one, Dave. Nice one, pal.
Great stuff, mate.
Great to see you, pal. And I will catch up with you soon.
Will do, mate.
Thanks for calling me. Up the Ramble. Top man. Ta-da, David. Nice one. Straight into Lewis. How's it going, pal?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yes, not bad. Follow that if you can. Mr. Ramble on the road, making your debut yesterday. How was that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, and it was fun doing it on a night where I met everyone.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was great. There were a fair few of us meeting up for the first time, weren't there? There were yourself, Big Tony, Dave, Blade Runner. There were a few that came down for the first time. It was brilliant. Great to see everybody down at Triple Point before the game. So thank you for doing that. Enjoyed Ramble on the Road. Put it all together quite quickly because you made it seamless for me, really easy to do. So recorded some really good bits, and we've got that up now as a short on the channel if people want to go see your match day experience yesterday, mate. So what did you think to the game, pal?
I thought overall the performance was good. I said at the end of the Ramble on the Road that I thought we had a mad few minutes, and that's when we lost the game. I can't be too critical of them. I think in the first half we had Southampton I think we had them in a position where I thought, okay, we can deal with this.
Yeah.
I looked at the lineup before the game. Jamie had it up on his phone in Triple Point, and I said that front four's a bit naughty. We're going to have to just be a little bit careful not to let the ball get into those areas.
That's
and
right.
A lot of space there. Very technical players with Fellows and Armstrong and Azaz. But I thought in the first half we did enough. Tom Davies was critical at stopping that break all the time.
Yeah, it was.
Getting a tackle in at the right moment. And that's what he gives you. When they just before they scored the equaliser, obviously Cal O'Hare has a chance, which I was a little bit critical of him at the time, thinking he's got to put that away.
Oh, you were one of those, were you? You were one of those.
A bit, but then I've watched it back and I've listened to a few of you tonight, and I'm thinking, you know what would I have done in that situation? I'd have smashed it.
Yeah, you would. Well. You would, and I think it's certainly an understandable way of doing it. I mean, the best in the world will probably dink it. But I'm not blaming him at all for putting his laces through it because it's there in front of him. Keeper just has to make himself big, and he did, and it was a good save. So that's the way I took it. I don't blame Cal for that personally.
No, and Ty has a chance at 1-1, which I think he could take. I really do. It's on his right foot. I'll give him mitigation.
It is, yeah, it is.
But I think he should take, and it's just unfortunate that their first goal we've not defended well enough. I think we've got too many ball watching. It catches him out of it because it comes off the bar, but I think there's a couple ball watching that cost us. Second goal, can't do anything about it. It's fantastic.
No, you can't.
Strike, isn't it? So.
I think sometimes when your luck's not in, mate, and it weren't last night, it's just not, is it? The ball don't bounce for you, all those sort of little cliches that we say. But I think that's probably a fair thing to say last night. I thought a point would have been a more than fair result. I thought Southampton came and played well second half. I thought they upped their game, they changed things around a little bit and gave us a game second half. And I think a point would have been fair for both sides. And I think both teams would have gone away quite pleased with that, really, in the end. So for them to nick all 3 points, they'll be absolutely buzzing with that. But I think they've got away with one a little bit. And we would lean on the referee for some of the decisions. But we just have to do that little bit more, don't we? We're not quite... We've improved, but we're not quite back up to the level where we're happy with how we're playing, I don't think, at the moment. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. And I'm not... unless Tom Davies can put in 2 or 3 games a week, which I have my doubts about, and I think a lot of people do, I think we're struggling in that position for someone that can do that job like Vinny did last season, someone that will bite a little bit at the right moment, stop teams from getting any momentum going. He did that in the first half, and it was very valuable to us. And I think, as I say, it kept Southampton mostly at arm's length. They played, they're a good side. They've got some technical players. They could play a bit, but they were playing in areas that it wasn't really hurting us most of the time.
That's right.
In that few minutes in the second half, they were able to hurt us. He was probably dropping off and getting a bit tired. and then of course he goes off the pitch, and we haven't really got anybody else like that. So that's a worry for me if we can't keep him fit.
I know. It's going to be a concern, someone that we'll keep a keen eye on, because I know Wilder's talked about him being a key player for us when he's available, and that's the question until I've just been talking to Dave about. How do you think we'll go on at Hull, mate? Do you think we can sort of ride this performance momentum into a result? Do you think he'll change the team much? What's your thoughts going into the weekend now?
I think that's going to be the factor that decides it. I think if he's forced into too many changes, I've got concerns about the weekend as well. I'd like to see the same side again started, personally, to try and build up a little bit of cohesion, a little bit of understanding, momentum. If he has to make one or two changes, okay. I think if he's getting into 3 or more changes because of fitness or conditioning, which is a concern because he's commented on that, hasn't he, about the condition of the players? Then I'm a little bit concerned. Hull are up and down. McBurney's obviously banging form, and everybody's worried about that he's going to score against us.
I'm going to ask you about that,
but I think they can go there and get a result. I think it all depends on what players are available to him. If he can go there and just make maximum 1 or 2 changes and not in key positions, I think we can go there and get something, and I would back him to go there and pinch a win, personally.
Me too, mate. Me too. I'm not going to spoil countdown to kick off too much, but me too. Anything else you want to cover before I let you go, pal?
No, just for everybody to stay positive, as the positive one would say.
Yes.
And try and look forward to the weekend. Great to meet you yesterday and the other guys as well.
Yes, you too, mate. You too.
And up the blades.
Top man. Cheers, Lewis. Thanks for calling, mate. Catch up with you soon. Cheers, mate. Lewis, our very own Batman there, who did Ramble on the Road for us last night. Absolutely spot on. So he's been a great addition to the channel, as have all the recent callers and everybody that gets involved. So thank you to everyone that does that. We are over time, and I am fully aware of that, but I wanted to give everybody as much time as they could to express their points on the game last night. So I will quickly go over some comments that I've missed. I will try my absolute best. I'm just looking here. Mr. Vancouver has gifted more memberships. Thank you so much, pal. Very, very kind of you. Gabe comes in with a super chat saying, I think the game at the weekend is an excuse for us to try a front 2 and see what will happen. I think we should try Tom Davis and Matos on Saturday and try and find our best team ASAP. Up the blades, up the ramble, like and subscribe. And that is a $13.99 super chat from Gabe. Thank you so much, mate. That's very kind of you and very much appreciated. I think Matos alongside Tom Davis. So you're in favour of giving Siddy a break? Possibly. I can see that. I think he's more likely to give Tom Davis than Siddy a break, if I'm honest, just due to the fitness concerns. But I would love to see 2 up top, which we'll come to in countdown to kick off tomorrow. Mr. Vancouver, in addition to giving out memberships, which is ridiculously generous, is also coming with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, mate. Hi, Jimmy. We can see the work rate and fight for the badges back under CW, and will be rate. No time to panic. Just get behind the players. Up the blades. Up the rambles. And like and subscribe to the best Blades content online, and vote for Jimmy and the Ramble. Yes, thank you, Mr. V, for that cheeky little plug. Not only is that a ridiculously generous super chat, we're also up for the Football Content Awards. The link is in the description if anybody wants to vote for the Ramble if you enjoy what we do, because we're finalists in 3 categories this year, which is very exciting. Danny, who's been a member for 4 months, says, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the best Blades channel, Up the Blades, Up the Ramble. Thank you, pal. Very much appreciate that. Right, let's get into some comments that we may have missed from people. I'll try and get at least one comment if you've not had one read. I'll try my best to remember who I've read and who I haven't. Apologies if I don't get to yours. But if you've made like 10 comments, I won't get to them all. John says, hi, Jim, gutted again. Thought we had got this one when we scored. Me too, but Southampton showed class. Ref was shocking. Still think we beat Hull, but why not play Ty and Ings up top? Catch us for countdown kick-off tomorrow. We'll hang on. And there's some I just won't read. Me didn't get booked. Campbell did. Charge says you're right actually, and Gaz put me right on that. So thank you for pointing it out. Chris says the ref is doing some sort of under 11 game this weekend. Let him stay down there. S says the game is bent. Even the cameraman panned away from the ref when the crowd got to 6. Oh, dearie me. Stephen says the ref was diabolical. Worst performance I've ever seen from one. The linesman too. He didn't even flinch for the foul on Ogbenny. Gutted for the lads. Much improved performance. I agree, which is something we can hang on to, isn't it? up the Blades, up the Ramble. Blunt Yorkshireman says, saw enough to give hope of a mid-table finish, but miles off anything else. Cooper, Hamer and Peck letting us down with poor performances. Waste of a season unless we add pace and new midfield in January. Interesting. Alan says Cooper is poor at the minute. I think he's low on confidence. I think he's been caught in possession with the ball at his feet a couple of times. I wouldn't say he's poor, but I've got a lot of time for him, to be fair. Ian says, one of the most incompetent ref performances I've seen in over 40 years of watching the Blades. So many decisions that made no sense. Leeds Master says, hi Jimmy, the ref spoiled a good game. I thought overall we played well. Our shape looked better and we moved the ball a bit faster. Unfortunately, we seemed to run out of steam around 70 minutes. SUFC 81 says, thought we'd improve, but the ref was terrible. Yeah, I think that's fair. Cooler King says, evening Jim, disappointing result from an okayish performance. Draw would probably have been fair. Neither side showed much quality. Refs can be frustrating, but it's in the past now, so we should move on. Yeah, we've got to do, mate. We've got to do. No two ways about it. Evening Jimmy, dreading the game against Hull with McBurney being on fire at the minute, says Danny. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe and hype. Thank you, mate. Brand says, said it the other week, Jim. We're a team with a handful of good individuals. Southampton were poor and have had a poor start. We're in a relegation battle, no doubt about it. 7 defeats already. If we can't win at home when we play well and the opposition are poor, where does that leave us? Bang in trouble. I think they're good opposition, though, aren't they? They're playing poorly, as are we at the moment, or we have been going into the game. I think they're a good side. I don't think it's any shame to outplay Southampton and not quite get the result. Joe says, best we've been all season, although not the best we can be. Didn't deserve to lose up the Blades, up the Ramble. Neil says, refs poor, Burrows poor, Cooper poor, sideways Peck poor, Hamer invisible, I think that'll be. Wilder embarrassed himself again and embarrassed the owners again. Dave says, thought Alan Neil came over... Thought Alan Neil came over very well in the post-match interview. More, please. Yeah, he did. Always cool, calm, collected. He was clearly frustrated, but bring McBurney back in Jan, says Born Unruly Official. James says, does anyone know why we kept leaving Ben Mee back when we had corners? He's a proven threat for attacking set pieces at Brentford, yet we choose to leave him back. We really should be sending him up often. I didn't see that we kept him back. I thought he were up for him. I might have been wrong. I thought it were. But definitely Sariki late on, weren't it, that were staying back. That surprises me if that were the case. I'd not noticed it. Jimmy, I sit behind the home dugout. That was the target, not the supporter. But when he played, I don't think his shooting was very good, meaning the Wilder boot into the crowd. TB says, yes, robbed by the ref, but no excuses for the goal. 2 men unmarked. Yeah, I agree. Lyndon Dykes in January, says Chris. Okay. Bryce says, evening Jimmy, not looking forward to Saturday with all these ex-Blades playing, another defeat incoming. Bailey says, good evening Jimmy, I thought we were good last night and we matched them. I love Cooper, but when he got the ball and recently his ball control has been poor. I think that's probably fair, mate. That's probably fair to say. I would agree with you. Mark says it was a foul. He held him back so Peck could get the header in, plus the red card was unwarranted. Oh, it was warranted, sorry. You can't go blasting the ball into the crowd. I think it's justifiable, both decisions, really. I think they're harsh, particularly the disallowed goal. But I think you can see why they were given. Has anyone noticed Wilder's record with United since the end of last season? Played 9, won 3, lost 6. Is it? Wilder's record with United since the end of last season. Played 9. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're not counting the first few games, are you? So you're counting the Oxford, Plymouth, and whoever else it was loss. You're counting the 2 Bristol City wins, the Sunderland loss. Okay. Lee says, evening Jim, let's not forget the fact that CW's only had these lads 15 days. Sayers had 74 days and destroyed this squad. It'll take him time to turn around, and you can see the improvement every 45 minutes. Players are working harder. Nice one, Lee. Rich says, hi Jimmy, I think when you've lost 7 from 8, every game becomes a must-win. Until you've pulled away from the bottom, we're really missing a target man and a midfield enforcer. Not wrong, mate. There are patterns of play emerging and confidence is slowly coming back. Let's judge CW's work at Christmas. It's still pre-season for Wilder to get his ideas across to a new squad. We're in safe hands. John says, it's not a race, Jimmy. It's ultra-marathon for us this year. I'll be happy if we finish out of the relegation zone. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Anybody else not had a comment read? Nige says, evening, gents. Won't be a Ramble stream without technical issues. What? There weren't any technical issues, were there? Didn't watch the game, but we heard the ref was shocking. Up the blades, up the Ramble, up behind the... Oh, is that... oh, yeah. That one Brett were talking about it, I think. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Alan says, Jim, lad, 12 again at 11 out there, and their 12th be reets. Gunny knave, indeed, but ye will prevail. Keep the faith, Jim, lad. Here. Aha. Yeah, thank you, pal. Appreciate that. Sean says, the ref has been called out. The performance was better, but we need to address the giant Vinny Souza-sized hole in that midfield. Stewart does not get the space to hit that second goal with Vinny in there. Fair? Fair. Maury says, ref was a tool. Even the officials at PGMOL think it's controversial. Andy Benny says, just voted for your Jim, Bob, in the 3 categories. Keep up the great work. Up the clarets, up the Ramble. Thank you, my mate. Appreciate that. Just need a link now for the intro tune. The intro tune. Oh, it's Matilda Shakes. Fever Dream. And Matilda Shakes, we've got a gig, by the way, with a few tickets running out on the 10th. We'll all be there. Loads of Ramblers will be piling into Sydney Matildas. Got a new single out. Light It Up. And it is absolutely class. You'll be hearing that on Ramble very soon. Andrew says, with the clearance like that from CW, he wants to be on the pitch. Without CW in the dugout, Saturday it's going to hurt us big time. Could do, couldn't it? Chris says, O'Neill looked better, looked our best attacking threat in pre-season and doesn't even get a sniff, yet Cannon still gets minutes and shows very little. I think O'Neill were poor when he came on in competitive games, though, this season, if I'm honest. Jimmy says, has Wilder improved the team? I would say yes. Results don't necessarily speak to that, but I think it was a best performance, I think, was yesterday. And I think, obviously, the Oxford result was the most important result we've got this season. Phil says, hi, Jimmy. Chris Wilder needs to control himself whenever he gets frustrated. I know he's passionate, but we need him in the technical area, not sat in the stands up the Ramble. Agreed. Matt the Blade says, unpopular opinion, but I think the performances are getting better. Me and Davis were outstanding. Just need a bit of belief and confidence back in the squad, and it will all come good. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Discourse of Peacock says, I do think Bamford will give you a better focal point and he's good at this level. There'll be more Blades talking about that as well. I think you're probably right, to be honest. Big improvements, says Michael. Went to the Charlton game the other week and we looked shaky. This game we showed some signs that we're moving forward, up the Blades. Will says, I'm still absolutely fuming from yesterday, but at least it's different to say as the anger comes from feeling like we could have won it, up the Blades. Like and subscribe. Absolutely right. Red Bull gives you one. It says, the standard of refereeing is very low in the Championship, but last night was the worst refereeing I've seen. Up the Blades. Return or Jedi says, you'll be fine. Ross Stewart was a poacher at Sunders. He played really well last night, I have to say. Ross Stewart. He looked really impressive. Sheffield says, I'm sorry, but I really don't share your optimism, Jimmy. We looked slow to the ball, off the pace with the passing, not closing down. Campbell looked knackered after 20 minutes. Hamer was miles off. Mate, it's a game of opinions. You are more than free to disagree with me. No problem with that at all. Lee says, apparently the assistant ref gave the goal, but the ref overruled it. That's what the commentators were saying on Sky last night. Interesting, mate. Interesting. Eric says, Wilder persisted with Brewster because he was his massive buy. Seeing the same thing with Cannon now. No way should he be first choice striker sub. Man Mountain says, top man. Thank you, mate. I don't know whether you're referring to me or Mr. V, since he's gifted a load of memberships again. Let's have a look. Renegade says, please, if you give us 2 points back, would be 24th. Okay. Right. John says, I was very chuffed to see you and shake your hand outside the ground. Yes, it was great to see you too, pal. You talk a lot of sense. Don't know about that. Much better team this week. Ings would have probably come on sooner if CW had been on the pitch. I think Wilder were communicating to the dugout, weren't he? So it'll have been Wilder's subs in Wilder's time. I think that they'll have come on. So I don't think it will like an Alan Nil decision, those second half substitutes. I think they'll have gone through Wilder, to be honest. So I'm going to leave it there because we are well over time. We've gone 15 minutes extra time. No way what referee giving us that yesterday, worry. But I think we've covered it. And now, like I say, we have to enjoy the wins, which we did. We enjoyed the Oxford win. We've now dissected the Sunderland performance, and we can put it to bed, can't we? We can forget about that now and move on. And tomorrow we're back with a countdown to kick off, and we're looking forward to the whole game, because I think there was enough in that performance to say we can get something at the MKM. Look, they've got some ex-Blades, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. One of them particularly on fire at the moment, who we would, you know, probably have in our side at the moment. But it's a challenge that I think we're up for. I think we can go there, and I think we can get 3 points, if I'm completely honest. And we'll get into that tomorrow. I want to thank everybody, particularly those that have sent in super chats, which is unbelievable. Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you to everybody that's liked, subscribed, any way that you support the Ramble. It's so appreciated. Thank you to everyone. And for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades!